It's time for another edition of the Can I Retire Now podcast with your hosts, Nick Russell and Becky Wagoner. I'm your podcast producer, RJ Malik. And right now, here's Nick and Becky.
Thanks, RJ. So today, we're going to do a little intro to Social Security, Becky.
Social Security 101.
Yeah, 101.
Okay.
So,
I've heard the term.
Good.
I've got the number.
Okay.
My personal.
Your
number.
own one. Yeah, don't share that on the recording.
Okay.
This is about Social Security benefits.
Oh,
which
yes.
play a big role in retirement planning, obviously. But there's a lot of misinformation about Social Security. So I thought we'd do a little 101 class.
Okay.
And then in the future, we could do kind of a part 2 where we kind of dive a little deeper, maybe do some examples, some practical use.
This is good because I have zero information about Social Security except for the highlights.
So you telling me I get to teach you about Social Security today, and you're going to be a willing receiver of that information.
I will receive it.
I've never been happier in my life. So top 5 moments in our relationship.
Yeah.
This will fall just below getting married.
Okay.
Okay. So what is Social Security? Do you know?
I know it has been pulled out of my paycheck ever since I got one, but It is basically like a pension run by the United States government, right? When you reach a certain age that I do not know at the moment, you then get to claim your Social Security benefit, and they pay you monthly based on what you've contributed over your contribution period. Keep talking. Words. Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to sit there patiently see how many words came out. That's factually reasonably correct. Nice job.
Ding. 1 point.
So Social Security was started back in 1935. The idea was to provide financial support for retirees. And back then, some of the issues we're having with Social Security now weren't an issue back then because people, frankly, didn't live very long after they retired. So we had a lot of people contributing, and the few people that were drawing on it, I think the average retirement in 1935 lasted 6 years. So people would retire and pass.
Dark history.
Yeah, dark history of Social Security.
Way to start us out on a light step. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
gotta. Well, it can only get better from here.
Okay, you're right.
So how do you qualify? You mentioned it was taken out of your paycheck. It's taken out of, I take it out of my own paycheck here. But you do have to work a minimum amount of time in order to even qualify for Social Security.
Really?
Yeah. So you know a bunch of my clients who are have come here from another country, maybe haven't worked in this country.
Mm-hmm.
They're not eligible for Social Security for their own benefits. So in order to qualify, you need something called credits. So it's 40 credits.
Oh my gosh, this is like going back to college.
It is. And a credit is basically a calendar quarter of period that you worked and contributed to Social Security.
Okay.
So why they do quarters and not years?
Or why not just call it 40 quarters?
Quarters. I call it 40 quarters.
Okay.
But it's basically 10 years of work. If you've worked 10 years or 40 calendar quarters, you've earned the credits to now you at least get
you
a
can now
benefit.
withdraw.
You get a benefit.
Okay.
And Social Security benefits, there are a few different types. So we're going to focus on retirement benefits today, but there is disability benefits, like my mom has been on.
Okay.
Social Security disability.
Mm-hmm.
There's also survivor benefits. If you have a spouse who passes away, there are things called survivor benefits for both spouses, widows, and children.
But today we're talking about
retirement benefits.
Just
the retirement chunk of it.
All right. I'm ready.
Okay. So you are correct that as you work, it gets debited out of your paycheck. In fact, your employer matches that debit. So that money gets sent away.
The original retirement plan.
It's like
not the original one. Pensions were probably the original one.
You did the research on that on a previous episode.
It's fleeting information. But anyway, go back.
So yeah, the idea was that you got a forced withdrawal from your paycheck. Money gets accumulated. It gets paid out to you later based on how much you've contributed. So actually what it's based on is how much you've earned and the money that was contributed in. So
you get more Social Security benefit if you make more in your paycheck, which leads to a bigger deduction from your paycheck, more contributions.
Same percentage of a larger amount, bingo, you wind up with a higher benefit. So what Social Security does is when you're ready to retire, they take your highest earning 35 years.
30 quarters. 35 years?
Years.
How does that even matter if I only had to work 10? How does that work?
That's why your benefit's not going to be as big as mine. It's not a competition, but just
Wait, so you have to have 10 years or 40 quarters to qualify.
Just to qualify.
But the payment is based on 35 years, your best 35 years, or whatever even 10 years.
Correct.
Up to 35 years.
Up to 35 years. And if you worked 50 years, they'll just take your best 35.
Okay.
Your highest earning 35, which
sounds like a country song. Your best 35. Anyway, sorry.
I didn't get the reference because you didn't have to do with pickup trucks.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Maybe that was a stretch.
And a girlfriend.
All right, 10 years to qualify. That's 35.
That's what I know about country music.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so 30, best 35 years. So yes, the more money you make, the more you contribute, the more benefit you'll have.
Got it.
So right now, the largest benefit someone can receive is almost $4,000 a month. Because there is a cap to the amount of money that can get contributed every year.
Really?
Yeah. So,
so they actually stop taking money at a certain point.
Correct.
Okay. It's not that you contribute and then they just don't give it back.
Correct.
They actually say, you've filled your bucket.
Yes.
Move on. Okay.
This year, if I'm not mistaken, it's $171,000 or $170,100. It's in that ballpark. It's called $170,000. So if you make $200,000, good for you. And only the first 170 of it gets deducted for Social Security deductions are made and put aside. The next 30
don't have Social Security
withdrawn.
Oh, so I didn't know that.
So
I was never in that category.
Yeah, it's a nice problem to have.
Yeah,
but if you made over that amount for 35 years, you would get, in theory, the most Social Security benefit possible,
which is something like $4,000.
Ballpark about $4,000.
Oh, didn't know.
So a couple different concepts which come up with Social Security is when do you claim it? When do you say, hey, I want to start receiving benefits?
Yeah.
So you said you weren't sure about the age.
I want to say it's in the high 50s, but if the longer you wait, the more you can get.
The second part of that's correct.
Okay.
The first part's wrong.
It's more than 50s?
Yeah.
It's in the 60s?
It's in the 60s.
Is it 62?
I didn't know we were guessing.
Oh.
But yes, the earliest you can draw your own benefit is 62. That is what we call an early or reduced withdrawal rate.
Oh, okay.
So early doesn't sound bad.
No.
But I also threw in the word reduced.
Womp. Yeah. But if you need the money, you need the money.
That is true.
Okay. But if you wait longer, you can get more. And it doesn't change. Once you start, that's your contribution amount.
Withdrawal amount.
Your benefit amount.
Correct.
For all of Social Security.
For all of time.
So really, when you start taking it, matters because it won't change.
It matters a lot. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a lot of mistakes that get made with Social Security withdrawals.
Yeah, I would have made them had we not had this talk.
And especially, we always talk about emotion with finances and everything. There's a lot of myths and misinformation around Social Security running out of money and going bankrupt. And, oh, God, if I don't draw it now, I'll never get it. So I'll draw it early and I'll draw a reduced benefit. And that's been a discussion point for 30 years. And we'll get into that. But your full retirement benefit, and almost everybody who hasn't drawn, because it used to be 66 was your full retirement age. Then they started to shift it to 67. So yours and mine is 67. Anybody born after 1954 is 67, is your full retirement age. So a few people who haven't drawn yet who are right before that. But essentially, everybody listening is full retirement age.
So, like, my parents were born before 1954. So they were allowed to get their full benefit at 66. Yeah. We have to wait till 67. That's the current number?
That is the current number. Will that be the guaranteed future number for us? Who knows?
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Okay.
So if you wait to your full retirement age, 67, you will get that calculation we talked about.
Nice.
The amount you put in, your highest earning 35 years, they do the little formula. And by the way, if you don't know your number, we used to get those green foldable 4-page things in the mail.
We did.
You might not have been old enough.
Oh.
At my distinguished age, Yeah, I think you start getting them at 35 and you used to get them every 2 or 3 years or so. Anyway, ssa.gov, Social Security Administration.gov.gov.
Oh, online. You can just log in.
Go online, make a login, and you can see your
estimated benefit.
Full retirement. They do assume that you're going to continue to work and earn a comparable income through that age. So don't be mistaken if you stop working, early.
Yeah.
Your benefit's not going to be that number. It assumes that you're going to continue to work. So be careful you're looking at the right number.
Interesting.
Yeah. But they'll show you a full retirement.
I just thought it wouldn't go up. But if you've qualified, if you put in your 10 years.
You can go in there and say, I'm going to retire at this age and then draw at this age, and they'll give you your number. Your
all
actual
right.
number.
The calculator's on there.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's important. Your full retirement age. Great. Let's say you want to draw it early. You can draw it as early as 62.
Yeah.
But you will draw it at a reduced amount. If you draw at 62 instead of 67, you're only going to get 70% of your benefit. So if your benefit at full retirement age was $1,000 a month, and you decide I'm going to draw it at 62 instead, you're going to get $700 a month for life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a variety of reasons why someone might do that.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's not a bad thing. It's just
not necessarily
you need
a bad
to be
thing.
aware of what you might be missing and do the math and see if it's the best choice for you.
Like anything else. Absolutely.
Okay.
It's not good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
By the way, if you wait till you're 70, you get about basically a 25% increase. In
there's
amount.
You made it to the end +2, +3.
Yeah. So if you, let's say for whatever reason you don't draw or you're still working, you don't need the income, whatever, and you just want to defer.
Yeah.
By deferring, you get more and more.
Go collect $200.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's just like Monopoly. Yeah.
Okay.
Now they actually do that calculation every month, but the math of it is lots of fractions, and I didn't want to throw that at you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I just kept it annually. But yeah, so you get full retirement age of 67, which is actually people born 1960 or later. Sorry, the 1954 age is for another spousal rule I was thinking of. So anybody born in 1960 or after, full retirement age 67. You can draw it as early as 62. You can draw it as late as 70.
But at 70, they're like, here's your money.
Yes.
We're not
no
holding
more
this
increases.
anymore. Okay.
And it's about a 6 3/4% difference each year you wait and defer.
6 3/4.
Okay.
It's almost Harry Potter. It is. No. Platform 9 3/4. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm just going to let you take that
Talk
tangent.
myself into it.
No, it's okay. I'm sure
ruin all the Harry Potter
somebody
fans.
is going to comment on this video or podcast and go, come on, Becky. We were literally sitting across the street from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and give you the answer.
I think it's 9 3/4.
I think it is 9 3/4. I actually don't know the answer, which is why I didn't chime in right away.
I was going to say, you're not even helping me out here. You're just letting me flounder in the deep end.
I was pretending to be proud.
Okay.
And pretend like I knew it, but I'll admit I did not know that. So those are your benefits. Now, one thing we won't get too much into today, but we talked about it a little in preparation of this podcast, was those are your benefits. The benefits I just described are your benefits based on your own received income.
Well, whose else would I get?
Mine.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you're married more than 10 years.
Another 10 year. Okay.
More than 10 years. You're allowed to receive 50% of my benefit.
In addition to mine?
No.
Oh.
Whichever one's larger. You can only ever draw one Social Security benefit.
Okay.
So if you were married once before, but not for 10 years. But let's say you were married for 10 years, divorced, then married me. And we were married 10 years.
Oh, so now I have 3 options.
3 options.
My own, my ex-spouse's, or my current spouse's.
Correct. So it's 50% of mine, 50% of his, or 100% of yours.
Now I'm going to be a little sexist. Would that work reverse, or is this written as a gender thing? Because I have a feeling it was intended for women because they don't work. Historically, did not work. But it works both ways in this one?
So I will tell you.
Yeah.
I should have researched that of where it was founded. It does work both ways. Let me just
answer the question. Work. Okay.
But I do imagine, because there are some other Social Security rules, which we'll get to, it's more of an advanced topic, that now that I think about it, we're most likely specifically gender-based. Yeah.
Okay, so that would work for you. Like, you could pick from your ex-spouses who you were not married to 10 years, but say you were, or mine.
Or let's say I pass away. We've been married more than 2 years.
Yeah.
If I pass away, please. I like being here.
Yeah. I like you here.
It doesn't work if you kill me, by the way, so don't get any ideas. I have to die on my own. You would actually be allowed to get 100% of my benefits.
And I would have 0 of you. So
0 of me, I would 100% of my Social Security.
I would pick.
I feel that's a loss.
100% of you. And,
but
0 benefits. But okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot of moving pieces. Now imagine layering on top of that what age you are when you retire. Maybe you retire at 65. Do you start drawing Social Security at 65? Or do you wait for your full retirement age?
Can I make it 2 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the highest number?
And especially, you're a perfect example. Let's say I retire at 65.
Mm-hmm.
You want to draw off my Social Security benefit, which, by the way, doesn't affect my benefits at all.
Oh, it's not taking half of yours.
No.
It's just like an extra.
It just uses my number as the calculation.
Okay. And does my ex-spouse have to know if I'm taking my ex-spouse's?
Nope.
They don't even know.
They don't even know. You show up to Social Security office with your divorce decree certificate thing, and they go, yep, we see you were married. They pull up his benefits. Again, you weren't married 10 years, but if you were, and say, yep, 50% of his benefit is this.
All right. They did that right.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
So the challenge here is, if your benefit, you personally, Becky Wagoner, is likely to be less than half of my benefit.
Yes, because I worked about 15 years.
Yeah. And I'm going to work
for the state, so I wasn't like raking it in or anything.
You were doing good work there.
Good, honest work.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You were saving PDFs, not lives. But I love that phrase. So shout out to, who was that said that to you?
Our friend.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't want to say your name? Kelly?
No, yeah.
I'll say your name, Kelly.
Yeah.
Who listens. So there you go, Kelly. So because of that, when I draw my benefit, really matters.
It now impacts my potential.
So if I draw mine at 62 and I take 70%, now you get half of my 70%. You get 35% of my benefit. All of a sudden, your 35 and my 70 is 105% of my full retirement benefit. But if we would have waited till 67, we would have 150% of my benefit. So there's some real deep planning strategies.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story here is, this is 100% something you need to calculate as part of your financial plan with your financial advisor. They're not talking to you about when to draw Social Security and strategies. There's a big miss here. There's a lot of strategies with marriages, with divorces, with kids, with different age bands. If you're more than 10 years difference with your spouse. So that's why I want to do a whole episode on that. Oh yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff. But let's talk about some facts. You good so far?
I love facts. I'm good.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question, actually, before I just give you the answer. A little Q&A. Are Social Security benefits taxed when you receive them?
I mean, everything's taxed in the United States, so I want to say yes, but I also feel like it would be cruel for them to do it. But I'm going to say yes, because the tax man always coming.
Yeah, it is cruel for them to do it, and it's done. Social Security benefits are, in fact, taxed.
They've held our money for however many years, made interest on it, and now they're going to charge us tax on it. That tracks.
Yeah, that seems about right. Now, are 100% of your benefits taxed? No.
Oh, just pick another number? Is this like a rule of what? No, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
The Omar rule.
Yeah.
So if you make, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but you can Google these numbers, amount of income you need for Social Security taxation. But a couple is somewhere in the range of, you make less than like 40,000
from benefits.
No, you have less than 40,000 of income in retirement,
okay.
Actual received income. So that's your investments, pensions, Social Security, everything. If it's less than 40, your Social Security is not taxed.
How kind.
If it's like, and I think that number is actually like 37, by the way.
Okay.
But if it's like 37 to 47, 50% of your Social Security benefit is taxed. And if it's more than that, 85% of the benefit is taxed.
At
your normal income tax rate.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll find a way.
So I'll share all that because when you go to draw your Social Security, they will not withhold taxes by default. So now you earn that income over the course of the year.
This is just like doing your taxes in April. Like they know how much you owe, but we won't help you. I mean, they literally are holding the money. The least they could do is like, here you go. Like,
so say you're super proactive and you're like, look, I know based on the last 5 years, I've estimated what my effective tax rate will be. I have clients that do this and they go, I need to withhold 15%.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Social Security. You know what they tell you?
Take it all.
No, you can withhold if you ask them, but only at the tax bracket levels. So you can withhold at 10, 12, 22, 24, 32 and above. So if you want to withhold 15, you just can't. Isn't it?
It feels so unnecessarily complicated.
It is.
And yet it's what we do.
It is another unnecessarily complicated thing, which is why I want to talk about it.
Like if there's buttons for like 10 and 12 and 22, like just
why can't we just make it 15?
Add all the numbers.
Yeah. Why can't we just choose?
Okay, so you can be prepared and the government will still say no.
So I have clients who withhold like 12% from the Social Security.
And they need to save.
And then I withhold a
put
little
3% on the side.
For that.
All right.
It's silly.
I need a professional for this. I would not have figured this out on my own.
No, and believe it or not, I can't tell you how many people come in or call me and say, "Hey, I just retired. I just started drawing Social Security,"
and they never even talked to you. They just took
never talked to anybody. I mean, not my clients.
I mean, I can believe it because there's people that are really pumped about their, getting income every month and then maybe don't plan every aspect that might be necessary.
They might not even know about these options, right?
It's probably in a 400-page manual.
I'll use her as an example, but I think I told you I had a client started working with me years ago who came to me because her husband passed away and she was ready to consolidate all her finances. One of the first things we talked about was Social Security. She was of age. She had worked, but she told me she worked, never earned a lot of income. So she was just going to draw off her husband's or late husband's. Through a conversation, I found she was married before and married to someone for more than 10 years, then got divorced and married her second husband who then passed. So we actually called Social Security and figured out all of the benefits and made sure she was drawing the highest one. There's no difference in Social Security, but she would have just went one track without even thinking about it. So I think there's a lot of conversation that needs to be there.
Okay.
So I know you have paper in front of you. You want to share some things?
I did a little fun fact digging.
Okay. Let me run through two of the little quick things.
Yep.
And then I'm just going to turn it over to you. You've let me talk a lot, so I love you and appreciate you. Couple common misconceptions mentioned, the fear of Social Security going bankrupt. Right now, there's a general fear that with government shutdowns or layoffs, that it'll take longer to get Social Security benefits. Mm-hmm. None of that has holds any water right now.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to tell you if the government shuts down that there won't be delays. Anytime in the past that's happened, Social Security, you may not get, if you apply and it's during a government shutdown, you may not get your benefit that first month expected, but they will give you your money. You'll get double payment on the first payment and that kind of stuff.
Okay. So far, as of today, there's no indication that any of those rumors about Social Security running out of money are imminent or will come true.
No. And mathematically, if we literally don't change anything, yes, Social Security, that pool of money will dry up, but minimal changes. Okay. We talked about full retirement age moving from 66 to 67.
Oh, they'll
if
just
that
do
moved
stuff
from 67 to 68, it would fund Social Security for another 40 years. If they increase payroll deductions by a quarter,
So it's a solvable problem.
Oh my God, it's super solvable.
So nobody panic over that.
Correct. Most people think Social Security benefits are not taxable. We talked about that. Couple quick hitters. I mentioned SSA.gov. That is the best place to go and find out what your benefit is. If you're married, you should both do it. Create your logins. Share that information with your financial advisor so he's not just using an estimate, that he's actually using your actual benefits. And then on our website, but also on the Social Security website, they have some phenomenal calculators like we talked about. So you can run different scenarios like, what if I draw at 67 and you draw at 65? Or what if you wait till 70? And there are cases to be made where one spouse will draw and the other will wait because it maximizes the total benefit.
Yeah, I can see that.
So just a couple quick things. If you take a moment, you're bored on a Saturday, morning after your breakfast, jump on SSA.gov. Yeah, I know. I have a really different expectation of what people do when they're bored than what really happens. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. But I like it. I'm glad someone's looking out for everybody.
Okay.
So
it's the least I could do.
Yeah. So,
right. So thank you for letting me spit all of that.
It was helpful, and useful, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So here is the thing. Do you know the first person to receive Social Security? Who it was?
Mr. Social Security.
Yeah, he's like a Monopoly man. He's got like the hat and the monocle. No.
Bob. Was it Bob?
No, it was Ida May.
Ida May.
Ida May Fuller of Vermont. She only paid in $24.75.
Okay.
But she lived to be 100 years old. So
get him, Ida.
Not only did she like claim this benefit, she was like, I'm going to claim it and then live past all your expectations.
Yeah.
She started receiving benefits in 1940, this says.
Okay.
Which may be a little, I don't know when. Anyway.
Yeah, started in 35.
Collected till 1975 for the grand total of $22,888.
Not bad for only chipping in $24.
$24 to give you 22, almost 23,000. Yeah, pretty good.
Nice.
Ida May, way to go.
Can I jump in real quick? I know that's your fun fact. But another misconception, because you kind of mentioned it before, and I just glanced over it. She put in $24 and took 20-something thousand out.
Yeah.
People think that when their Social Security accounts that their funds are getting deducted, that there's an account there with their name on it. Like that's my money. That's wrong. So the deductions we're making right now out of our paychecks are just going directly to pay the Ida Mays that have already retired. So
feels like a
go ahead
Ponzi
pyramid scheme. Yeah, it's very much like we need more employment and more people, and they need to make more money.
Let's not dwell on this.
So I just want to let you know, because people think, I put in. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so Ida May did that, and the other fun thing that's just in passing is Social Security numbers were not meant to be identification numbers, and that is the basis of what they are now, I feel like.
Ooh, wait. I didn't know.
Yeah, and they were only intended to track your earnings, not for identification. And in fact, original Social Security cards said on them, not for identification.
And now we specifically use them for identification.
Like, to prove you're the real ID and who you are, you have to have a Social Security number. Like, that's their main purpose. And filing taxes.
Huh.
Or, I guess, receiving Social Security benefits. So
I have a question you probably don't know the answer to.
Lovely. Go ahead.
So Social Security numbers are, 10 digits long? 4, 3, 7, 8, 9 digits long.
Yeah.
There's more people in the country.
I think they had to start over. I think that's why it's so important you tell them you're dead, also because they don't want to give you any more money.
Yeah, but there's got to be more people alive than 9 digits worth of numbers.
I don't have that information today.
Maybe not. And by the way, if they restart, could I get like 000000001?
I'm not going to say the chances are 0. But
who gets 1? Was Ida May 1?
I don't know. I'm not allowed to know her Social Security number.
Oh, because it was never meant for identification.
Yeah. So
that's pretty fun.
Anyway, that is Social Security 101.
Yeah.
Thanks for all that information, Nick.
Yeah. If anybody listening feels like they just drank from a fire hose, you're not alone.
Come back for the second.
Yeah. No. Social Security is its own baby, right? And I think about it when it comes to financial planning and retirement income as I reference, those old film projectors that we used to have in school growing up, where like a teacher would set up the projector and there was like the
overheads.
Overheads, and they put like the little clear thing on it, and then you can draw on it.
Yeah, the transparent. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You can tell how much I paid attention in school. So I always think of someone's financial plan as like one of those pieces, right? You lay that on there and you're looking on the board.
Oh, and then we need to layer all the pieces.
We layer on top, and we go, okay, if I draw here and you draw there, this is what it looks like. But then you can remove that and say, well, let's say we do it differently. Do we get a better net result?
It's a good visual, babe.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job.
It's super dated. I mean, our daughter would have no idea what I was talking about.
But good job.
I mentioned that CDs had lyrics in the labels the other day, and I think the entire statement I made just went in one ear and out the other. I'm starting to feel old.
Yeah.
Old enough for Social Security?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. So that's all I had. I wanted to save all the real nitty gritty for
another episode.
We'll call Social Security 201.
201?
201.
Sure.
Is that how college works? Yeah, 201. Okay. It's been a while. So, for more information, best place to go is our website, sunrisewealthadvisors.com. We have plenty on Social Security, you can find us on social media and all of that. But again, for any specific questions, I would first recommend go to ssa.gov, pull up your information, then reach out, say, hey, I have my information. I have questions about this. Just let us know. We're happy to help. We're happy to do reviews. This is something that's very important. And like you mentioned, once you draw, that's it. There are some nuances where you can go back and fix it, but it's very rare. So this is a really important thing to make sure you're doing correctly.
All right.
So
thank you, Nick.
Oh, thank you, Becky. It's been a pleasure as always. You bring a ray of sunshine to Social Security, which is hard to do.
Well, it's a heavy load, but I'm willing to try.
Well, thank you. So we'll see you next time. Again, if you have any questions, sunrisewealthadvisors.com. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Nick. Looking forward to your next podcast, and thank you for listening to today's Can I Retire Now podcast. Until next time, for Nick and Becky, I'm RJ Malik.